this video we're going to take a look at playing chords all over the neck, looking at the CAGED system, learning C, A, G, E and D all over the neck. Now one of the biggest mistakes I made when I was learning to play the guitar was being unable to see how something like related to chords. Thought that it all came from scale shapes, and as if chords were for rhythm and scale shapes were for lead. So we want to look at that. We'll also look at how to use the minor chords and the seventh chords all over the neck. So it might appear to be a big task, but it's a lot easier than you may think, and it'll open up a whole avenue of understanding and how to play the guitar. So it might be a long video, but it's worth sticking with. I'll try and put the charts on the screen so you can follow more easily. For those who follow this channel, my broken wrist is still broken, but I no longer have to wear a splint, so it's still healing, but I can still play the guitar. So it is getting slightly better, but still pretty painful. So anyway, further ado, the C chord, first chord in the CAGED system, C. So we're going to imagine that you already know that chord, the C. Now in our CAGED sequence you've got A, but if we're going to turn that A shape into a C, we'll go A, A sharp, B, C, we'll bar that, and we have the C chord. So we've got C in that position, C in that position. How is that going to help us if we're going to play very simply? You've got more range. Range of notes within that chord. G, if we're going to turn that into a C chord, we're going to go up G, G sharp, A, A sharp, B, C. So we've got them notes, which you can see on the screen. A C chord. Very rarely would you actually play it like that unless you wanted another broken wrist. But that can be added. So and this is where you have different like arpeggios, which you can make when you're playing lead runs, or if you were tapping, which is very poorly done and all. So you could be tapping out a chord. If we go to E, if we take that all the way up, F, F sharp, G, A, B, C, you've got C in that position. And then D is your next shape in the CAGED, which would be on the 12th fret. Like that, and then you're back to the C chord shape. Now what that gives you is the ability to go so you've got C all over the neck. So you can go from, and you know that further up's going to sound right, so you know where everything is. So when you're playing different ideas, you know what positions are the next. You're not thinking in scales, you're thinking in terms of chords. So that's the C chord. That's really the first thing you want to be able to learn to do, is get C all over the neck. Now that you've got that, really every other shape you could move it up or down. So in the case of the A, if we move to the A chord, if we do that all over the neck, you've got A. In the same sequence of CAGED, A, G, E, D, you've got in the G shape, that would be A also, bar the 5th, do a E chord shape, you've got an A chord. And then on the 9th fret you go D, D sharp, E, F, F sharp, G, D sharp, A, you've got A there, and then there's a C shape, so you've covered A all over the neck. If I'm going a little bit fast, go back over, look at the charts. I'll put a link in the description to the blog so you can take a look at it and might be able to absorb the information a little bit more slowly. So now you've got A all over the neck. If we turn A into an A minor, like that, we've got this C note in the A minor. So very simply, to do bluesy type stuff, I'm going from the minor third to the major third there. So I'm thinking A minor to A major. If I think of A7 with that open G, and then back to the A, so I've got A7 chord with that G there. So that's how I'm thinking in terms of chords, not necessarily scales. So if you, as a beginner, if you see something like tabbed out, you might not think that that's part of a chord, but it actually is. If I go to that A shape, I take this finger off, A minor, that's my minor third there, my major third, the root note, that note, if I go to an A7, there's my 7th. So I'm thinking fluctuating between the A minor, the A major, the A7. And then when that thing I did where I played the C note, bent it up to C sharp, because in that, there's my major third, minor third. Like that, so. Now when I went like that, it's because I'm going to the A in that shape, so I'm playing them two notes out of the A. If I turn that into an A minor, I've got that note on the 8th fret of the high A, and if I slide into the major third, if I turn it into an A7, I've got the 8th fret of the B. So sorry. So I've got this whole range of notes available. I know what they're going to sound like, because I've got the minor third, the major third. I know that's my 7th. Like that. So that's learning A all over the neck. If we look at G shape, after the G, got an E shape, bar the third, do an E shape, we've got the G chord there. And then there's a D shape, if I go D, D sharp, E, F, F sharp, G, I've got on the 7th fret there, D shape, which would be to give me the G chord. And I can do that same thing, I could turn it into a G minor, I could turn it into a G7. So that's a G, that's a G minor, that's a G7, I know that's my minor third, major third, 7th, root, so G7, so same thing, and I'm adding the G chord in that position. So I've got a lot of different range here. So if that's G, then is a C chord, that's G, do it as an A, there's my root. That's a G chord, and then I'm back to my original. So that's plotting G out all over the neck. And the possibilities of playing, I'm just applying this idea to like a bluesy type of sound, but again, you could do arpeggios if you're doing a G minor arpeggio. I know that that's G minor, that's G minor, so I've got that note. So I can add that to be playing. If I was playing over G minor, I would know all the notes in it. If you go to E, and then is a D shape, D, D sharp, E, and then there's a C shape, like that. I've then got, there's an A shape, I've got E as that, then E is a G shape, like that. Then I'm back to my original, which I can't get my hand in because I haven't got a cutaway. E in that position. If I do that thing where I go E, E minor, E7, I plot out minor, third major, third, the seventh. I've got a seventh there. So and there's me. E is a D shape on the fourth fret. I can turn that into a E7 like that. So that should give you a whole range of possibilities apart from just going with E. If I did an E shuffle rhythm, and I know that I'm all based again within E, E minor, E7, and I can do arpeggios and different things, and I can plot out E all over the neck. Well, our next chord, last one in the CAGED system, is D. A D as a C shape, bar, there's your, like that. That takes D root note, do it as an A shape. D root note, if I did it as a G shape, like that, and then bar, 10th, D there. So I'm plotting D out all over the neck there. I'm thinking in terms of that, and in that position, and that position. So if I think in them terms, I can turn D into a D minor, and into a D7. I could have I'm thinking of D7 like that, D minor into D major, so I could have so I'm not thinking in scales, I'm thinking in chords, and the possibilities are endless. So like I said before, I'm thinking in terms of like blues, but you can apply this to neoclassical, any style, and if you're soloing over a progression, if you can plot out the chord all over the neck, then you can deviate from the chord, come back to it, but you kind of know where you are when you come to an end of a solo. If the last chord was D and you wanted the solo to end up and finish on the root note, the fact, you know, the chord all over the neck is giving you that ability to visualize what's going on in the neck, as opposed to just learning a scale and meandering about. It gives you a lot more to work with. So as always, thank you for watching, and let me know your thoughts in the comments. If there's anything I've missed out, anything you'd like to add, feel free. And as always, thank you for watching.